Welcome back. Sorry it's been so long, but this is episode 4 of rebuilding OpenClaw from scratch. We've gone through the first 3 episodes: agent loop, personality, gave it a soul file, identity. Last episode, we gave it access to Telegram, and this episode, we are going to make our agent proactive. So we're going to give it heartbeat functionality and cron, or scheduled task functionality. So let's jump in. So where we left off last episode was we had our message loop, which is basically the loop with a large language model, and then we connected Telegram to it. So at a high level, this is what it looks like. After today's episode, this is kind of what we have. We kind of have this message queue that then pushes itself, messages to this message loop, which does the agent loop interacting with the LLM. And so in addition to Telegram, we've also added heartbeat and cron. And so I'm going to explain what both of those are. So heartbeat is something that runs on a timer. It's basically like a heartbeat, right? And so it happens regularly. And you can configure how often this happens. So a heartbeat is going to be supported by a heartbeat file. And what's going to happen is this file is going to be injected into our agent automatically every half hour, every 5 minutes, every hour, however much we decide to set it up for. And so in the config, you can set up the interval. You can set up the active hours, like the start hours and the end hours that you want it to work. Maybe you don't want your agent, processing stuff in the middle of the night. Maybe you do. And then you set your Telegram chat, so it knows like which Telegram chat to reach out to. And then basically, if the agent decides it doesn't want to do anything, it just returns heartbeat okay, and it doesn't do anything. So what is heartbeat useful for? So you could do all sorts of different things here. You could set it up to go every hour, and then you could say something like, here's my favorite sports teams. Every hour, check and see if there are any major updates for my teams, and if there's anything that's super exciting, send me a message about it. Otherwise, just ignore it. You could do something like that. You could do it to kind of keep track of news trends, or I don't know, like you could have it watch products, like let me know if this product goes on sale or something like that. So anything like that, the agent will automatically do this behind the scenes and then decide whether it's worth it to reach out to you. So this is something that you can have the agent set up itself to kind of check in on every hour. So that's heartbeat. The other proactive tool that we kind of want to give our agent is cron. Basically, that's scheduled tasks. And so this will let us say, hey, remind me to go water the plants in 10 minutes. Or you could tell the agent every morning at 9 a.m., look at, look at this, look at my YouTube channel and write up any of my, any of the stats of my channel, and then write me a report. So cron is very helpful for that. To support cron, we've given our agent 3 new tools. There's cron add, which lets you add a new scheduled task. There's cron list, so the agent can see all of the tasks. And then there's cron remove, which lets it remove a task. And so we have a bunch of different scheduled formats here. This is basically for the agent to interact with it. There's like one shot, so you can just have it do a one-off task in like 5 minutes, or 2 hours. We can have an interval set for every 300 seconds or something like that, or every 1 day. And then there's a chronic expression, which is, if you're not familiar with that, you can, it's basically just like a syntax to kind of communicate to computers how often you want a recurring time to be. And so I think one of these is like day of the week, time of day, etc. So like this one, 09 *** is 9 a.m. daily. There's a whole syntax online. Large language models know really well what this means. These are different schedule formats that our agent can interact with cron to set up different types of jobs. And these are going to be persisted to a special cron file that we have. So let's go over what we built. So let's see here. We've created a cron service. This is basically the thing. It's a while loop that will loop around and check all the different cron jobs we have and if any of them, if it's met the time that it's supposed to execute, it will then execute them. We have cron tools. This is basically connectors from our cron service to our agent. It's the way that our cron service is exposed to our agent, so our agent can actually interact with it. We have this heartbeat.md file. This is a file that is stored in our agent that it can modify. And so whenever it loops around and does this heartbeat check, it will read this file and then do everything that is said in the file. This is copied over on initial run, and then you can have the agent edit it as time goes on. The gateway is, we built this in the last episode, I believe. That's a thing that it sets up the agent loop and connects the Telegram instance to our code, and that was slightly modified to support heartbeat and cron. And then we have this heartbeat config schema. This is kind of stored in our schema, and some minor changes happened there. So we're not going to demo yet, but I'm going to walk you through some of the actual code. So the first thing I want to show you is the cron add tool. So here's here's all the tools that we talked about. We have the cron add tool. And then we can see the description here, right? This is given to the LLM, and so it's easy for us to understand too. Schedule a future message to be injected in this conversation. Here's the different parameters. It kind of gives some explanations of like when to fire, et cetera, et cetera. Here's a specific code for it. We can see like the schedule, the message, what channel it should be. I think like Telegram in this instance, and then chat ID. We have the cron list tool. This lists the different the existing jobs, the existing scheduled tasks, and then we have the cron remove tool to remove tasks. So these are all surfaced to our large language model, our agent, alongside with our other tools like the execution tool, file system read-write tools, and I think this was just the base class. So that's the cron tools, and these are all connected to the cron service, which I can show you next. You can tell here, like look at this add tool. When it gets called by the large language model, it's actually calling out to cron.add. And so if we click into this, it's going to flip us over to our cron service, to the add method here, and it handles all of that here. So this one's a little bit of a larger file. I'm not going to go through every single aspect of it, but it has all the scheduling code in here to handle actually executing all of our different cron jobs or scheduled tasks. So this handles the one-shot parsing, like the one-shot schedules. This parses the intervals, and then this parses the cron expression. What else do we have here? This loads it from file. This saves it to file. This is the add method to add a new task, remove a task, list all the tasks or jobs. And then this is just a while loop that loops around in the background, and when one of the job times has been met, basically that's what this is, it decides to put on the queue, and this queue actually is the thing that is injected into our agent, so our agent then runs. So that's for the cron aspect here. The next thing I want to kind of talk about is, let's see here, is the heartbeat. So here's our heartbeat file. This is going to be this is one of our template files, and it's going to be copied over to our agent, and then our agent is going to be able to edit this whenever it wants to. And so the default instructions are: check the following and report anything worth the user attention. If nothing is noteworthy, respond exactly with heartbeat okay. So if it's the morning before 10, send a brief good morning, include weather if you can get it. So that's just like a out of the box type thing. You can add all sorts of different things in here for it to do every interval, or at specific times of day. If it's a specific time of day, you might want to use cron instead. But if you have a bunch of things you want to batch together, maybe it makes sense to kind of put it in the heartbeat file. Looking at our gateway here, there's been a handful of changes. This is like our main loop that connects to Telegram and our agent. This is our message loop here. We're not going to dig in too much, but if we scroll down here, we now have a heartbeat loop, which is going to be kind of running in parallel with our like message loop. And this will like read our heartbeat file and inject it into the agent at our given interval, put it in the queue for it to be processed. Scroll down here. This is our main loading, the main method of our gateway file. We can see here we've added our cron tools. We have our Telegram adapter, and then we kick everything off. And so this is really kind of the entry point here to a lot of different things. This is our message loop. So when we're interacting with Telegram, it's going to interact here. Our heartbeat task or loop is set up here. So we have our heartbeat loop going around in a circle. It's going to inject it into our sane agent context. And then we have our cron task, which is also kind of interacting with our, this sets up the cron service. And so that loop is running behind the scenes. And then when things stop, we then cancel all of these different things. So if you want to learn more on the specifics, I would recommend pulling this code and then just asking Claude Code or Gemini CLI or Codex CLI to explain some of these things to you. But hopefully at a high level, this is helpful to kind of understand how all these different things work together. So a little bit longer this episode to kind of explain all the different aspects, but hopefully that was helpful. All right, so let's jump in and actually run this thing. So I'm gonna run our gateway file. This is gonna start up, gateway is running. All right, I'm gonna flip over here. We can see this heartbeat file has been copied over. We have our config here. We have our heartbeat, which indicates specifically when it's going to be interacted with and everything. And we have our cron file here, nothing in it right now. So I'm going to open up iPhone mirroring. I am in Telegram. I'm going to reach out to my agent. And so this is actually using my iPhone. You can see the message came in down here. Hello again. Great. Can we set up a heartbeat? Let's see what our agent says. So it's reading our heartbeat file. It's going to follow back. Right, heartbeat is currently disabled, but the settings are already configured every hour. Heartbeat instructions say I should check during the morning. Let's set it up to do a random joke every 1 minute. Oh, phone froze there for a minute. Let's send that in and see what our agent is going to do. Cool, we can see down here that it read through these files, it wrote these files. Nice, nice, nice. Excellent, we're back to the comedy hour. How nostalgic. I had this set up before while I was playing around with it. Configured the heartbeat to fire every 1 minute. Random joke, only run between 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. The interval change requires restarting the gateway to take effect, so you'll need to restart the AI. Okay, so I am going to do that real quick. Control C, then I'm going to open up the gateway. I think that that's something you can change and you can basically enable hot reloading. So it doesn't need to be restarted. So we're just gonna wait here for a minute and see what happens. All right, look at that. So I paused and resumed here. We have our first joke came in at 9:42 because I restarted it, and so we lost 9:41. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? So fish-ticated. That's very good. So I'll pause again and we'll wait for the next joke to come in. All right, we should be having our next joke come in very soon. There we go. Tell a random joke, keep it fresh. Here it is. Why did the coffee file police report? It got mugged. Okay, there we go. So that's great. Let's turn off Cron, heartbeat. Nice. And so I think it just turned it off. I'm going to flip over here. We have our heartbeat. Okay, so here's our heartbeat file. Tell all random joke, keep it fresh and varied. So that's in there, but the config is now off. And so it will no longer be doing that. Now let's check out Cron. Okay, can you remind me in, I don't know, 30, we'll say 1 minute. 1 minute to walk the dog. And so this should be using Cron. And we can see down here, Cron add, it just added it. Done. You'll get a reminder in 1 minute to walk the dog. How responsible of you? Yes, thank you, thank you. Love the snarkiness of my bot. Config shows us disabled. The gateway must still be running. In the meantime, since you asked, interesting. That looks like a bug here. The gateway must still be running on the old settings. You need to restart. Oh, that's right. So we disabled the cron, or we disabled the heartbeat, but we didn't restart the gateway like we were supposed to. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Great. So yeah, I just restarted the gateway, and we should be getting the reminder to walk the dog any moment now. All right, look at that. Reminder to walk the dog. Time to walk the dog, Josh. So that's great. So that is working. I can say things like, okay, at 8 a.m. tomorrow, let's see, can you check the weather and then report back to me. Let's see what it says. Okay. Perfect. Schedule a daily cron job for 8 a.m. your time. Check the weather and report back. First weather report will arrive tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. I'll fetch your current conditions, let you know. How delightful routine. I do love a good morning ritual. So still got the snark there from our agent, but cron is working. And so for this to work, you obviously need to have your machine running and this code, this gateway running. So if you have like a home lab or a computer running like Home Assistant or something like that, you would want to get this code on there to run this gateway just like running perpetually. So then it would be able to reach out to you via Telegram and do these things. So what's really cool about this is we can have our agent, we can interact with our agent via Telegram, and it can then set up these different scheduled tasks to do different things. And like ChatGPT and Claude just aren't quite there yet as far as like letting you configure these kind of scheduled tasks. So I am sure there's like bugs and issues in the system I've built here. And I know that there were plenty in OpenClaw when I was playing around with it. But it's really fun to be able to play around and see how like just what's possible with AI in the world today. Because there's so many new things, and I think just combining different things with AI, so like Telegram with AI or scheduled tasks or cron with AI gets you a really cool new thing. So yeah, I think that's mainly it for the demo. The possibilities here are kind of like endless, especially when you hook it up with different tools or are able to give it access to cool things on the command line, like a web browser tool. He can go out, search for a morning briefing for you, checking different websites and different things like that. So yeah, hopefully this was a helpful demo. So that's a wrap on the series. 4 episodes. We did our agent loop at the beginning. That's the core of this whole thing. We gave it a personality and its own memory, and then Telegram last episode, and then we made it proactive this episode. So that gives you the core of OpenClaw. And, hopefully you have a better picture of how these agentic systems works, how systems like this work, and how you can pull together these simple things like cron jobs or scheduling or a Telegram adapter and kind of plug it into these AI systems and just like multiply the impact that they have. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions on any of this, and have fun playing around.